we're going to transition to Q&A. So questions for, what? Oh,
Are there any others? I think the students should be the ones recognized first. I'm an old guy, so if there are any student questions, why don't you take them first and then come back to me later?
No? You guys did such a good job explaining everything that was about student activism. There are no questions left. Okay, Andrew.
Okay. Norm mentioned transitioning leadership. What qualities would you look for in leadership, or if there's qualities not present yet, how would you inspire those qualities?
So I got this
Yeah,
one? Okay.
go for it.
All right. So first off, I would say probably the number one quality you need to look into is their own personal integrity. I think that Jim Lark has really impressed this upon me over the years, that the messenger is just as important as the message. If you're not the type of person that you would want to be a friend of, that you would want to do business with, that you would want to have help you, if you're not that type of person, they're not going to buy it. And that's really the number one quality that I would look at, and that's not something I don't think you can just sort of teach that. It almost has to come naturally, or you're not going to be able to just teach it over the course of a year. Maybe over the course of 3 years. I don't know. I've never tried that. But that's probably the number one quality that I would look for. Other than that, I'd probably say intellectual and consistency, because your leader is both your he's both your activity leader. He or she is both your activity leader and your intellectual leader. And I personally believe that ideas come first. Before right action comes right thinking, and that's what's most important. So that's critical. And no matter what, you're going to get people with high energy in these sorts of things. You're not going to even look at somebody who doesn't have high energy and wants to work. So that's going to kind of be natural. That's what's going to happen. That's what I have to say.
Right. Anybody else? Take Aaron.
Yeah, I'd also say for the consistency of the group, look at underclassmen, freshmen and sophomores who have volunteered for 3 out of 5 activities. Those people have high energy levels, high levels of dedication as well. And for the consistency and continuation of the organization, I'd also look at the model of the president or leader of your group be a junior standing, and the previous year's junior president or chairman be the executive director. That way you have a solid leadership team that is going to easily transition every year.
Anybody else?
So I know we have...
On you. It's working.
Okay. So I know we have a few representatives here from SMU, and one thing that they've done is they create a red and a blue president. So they have 2 different people working simultaneously under the same role. I think that's a great job, or a great idea, because you have one person graduate, but they've both been doing the same sort of, they've been covering the same sort of responsibilities. Another resource is out there that a lot of people don't know about is Leonard Reed's Elements of Libertarian Leadership. It's something I just happened to find in my library at school one time, and he's actually the founder of the oldest free market think tank in America, the Foundation for Economic Education. So I encourage you to look at that name down, Elements of Libertarian Leadership by Leonard Reed, and take a look at it as a real quick read.
Great. Other questions?
Yes. To what extent does party affiliation matter? Because obviously we have people working we have some of y'all working inside the Republican Party or the Libertarian Party. To what extent does party affiliation matter as far as furthering the cause, if you will? At what point do you need to either take on another party head on or work within the party?
Questions on party affiliation?
I'll take that first. For me, it's promoting libertarian or liberty-minded candidates within my party. I believe Phil mentioned it earlier. The reform within the Republican Party starts within liberty-minded Republicans like myself, and pushing that. While it might be a futile move in some people's minds, I know that might be a shared sentiment here. I've gotten there, and I'm still in the infancy of my pursuit. And we have been successful not only in Texas in pushing through liberty-minded Republicans, but across the nation. Even look at Rand Paul. So to me, that's where party affiliation does come in, and that's not only with the Republican Party. That can be done with the Democratic Party as well.
Yeah, I have something to add to that. I just say first, be a libertarian and only pursue things in so much as it helps to advance liberty. So that's like, one of the only, that is the only reason I'm involved in College Republicans, is because it can help me recruit and learn about ways to, do things better in my own group. But more than that, I think we need to focus more on the cultural revolution. Political change will come in time. This is a cultural battle. One of the ways I can best illustrate this is Isaac Morehouse actually wrote a great article recently about if there was an interest group out there that advocated kicking chickens, it obviously wouldn't be accepted. It would not pass into legislation because that's a bad idea, and people generally don't accept bad ideas. We have to change the mindset of people out there, and political change will follow.
Yeah, if I may just, something we like to say in our group is, we are involved in with the Libertarian Party of Texas frequently enough, but we like to say that we are libertarian by conviction and Libertarian Party by convenience. We believe right now, we are in a slightly strange situation here at UT because there are 50,000 students. We can afford to ignore the college Republicans, honestly. There are plenty of other people out there who we can reach. We are interested in training people for that cultural revolution, and I like to say we like to train people to be weapons of state destruction. And that's our I think Clint has a really good perspective on this, because I think he's in a completely different type of situation than what we're at, and he's taken that to a totally different level. I wouldn't have anticipated. I think he's done a fantastic job with that, so I compliment him there.
Okay, you guys have one or two more questions?
Regarding that last question, this is directed to Clint. Could you describe the success that the UNT chapter has had in being non-partisan explicitly within our group?
Yeah, our mission is to advance the cause of liberty in any form or facet possible. So we do not identify politically at all, because that puts a lot of people off. They want, when you say you advance liberty and that's your only mission, it's quite vague, and it's intentionally vague, because you want to bring people in, you want to interest them, because liberty is good to virtually everybody. Nobody is a student of fascism. Everybody wants to support liberty. They have a different idea of what it means, so you have to draw them in first. And it may seem deceptive, but it's just a strategy, and everybody employs it for their own purposes. But propaganda isn't necessarily a bad thing. We have to propagate our ideas just like anybody else does.
Cool. One more? Husto, go ahead.
Yeah, has anyone had any luck infiltrating like university Democrat groups? Because a lot of us have heard about infiltrating Republicans. I was just wondering if it's ever happened.
Anybody? Maybe try that one?
We can afford to ignore the University Democrats.
Oh, actually, guys, I'm going to throw it to the back of the room. We have Dennis Craig in the back from George Washington University, and he runs the Liberty Society there, and he's done a lot of work on that front.
Yeah, we focus on that end because we notice that there are a lot of groups that reach out to the right and reach out to college Republicans. Actually, two members of our youth board would identify themselves as being college Democrats, or Democrats, sorry. The way we go about this is, as far as reaching out to the left tends to be focusing more cultural organizations on campus, more social organizations on campus. So a very good way to reach out to the left is by co-sponsoring or co-hosting events with these sorts of organizations. There's a Hispanic organization on GW's campus. We reached out with them to do an event about Chile and economic reforms within Latin America. This might be unique to DC, we are in Texas, I'm from Texas, but we have Minaret Freedom Institute, which is an Islam free market think tank. We co-hosted an event with the Muslim Student Association, talking about free markets in Islam and how they go hand in hand. But there are tons of different things that you can do. We co-hosted an event with Ally and Pride about marriage in the States, what role government has in marriage, that sort of thing. So I say the best way to reach out to the left, I probably identify more with the left than the right, is to co-sponsor events and do that sort of thing. Next year I plan on starting Students for a Sensible Drug Policy on campus, just something similar to that, just to have another liberty-oriented organization on campus that focuses on a single issue that both the left and libertarians can go on, because there are tons of, there are free market groups, and there are, Students for Concealed Carry. There are a lot of organizations that libertarians and conservatives can work with each other at. But, I think, as you pointed out, and a few other people pointed out throughout the day, working with the left is just as important.
Thank you, Dennis. Right here.
Yeah, I was going to. What are you guys' best fundraising strategies?
Fundraising, always a tricky topic for student groups. Anyway.
Donations.
Yeah, donations.
Asking alumni, asking local businesses, ask Students for Liberty. We can fund with protest grants.
Actually, I'll tell you what, technically speaking, our best fundraising op was executed by Jose when he managed to convince the Federalist Society to fund John Locke. I mean, that was freaking brilliant. I couldn't believe it. I mean, that was essentially like getting a, $2,000 donation? I mean, it was just like that. So if you can pull off getting somebody like the Federalist Society to kind of help you sponsor a speaker, or just do part of it even, that's huge, and you can do a lot with that.
All right, time for one more question. We got somewhere. Yeah, you've had your hand up for a while.
I just want to say this, and I am fully, while we still have a First Amendment left, I fully support doing everything humanly possible to use that, and we should use that. What I do want to say is, this is my own personal opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. But this is my personal opinion. The President, the Judiciary, and the United States Congress work for us. We don't work for them. And they are not above the law. And if the situation keeps going the way it's going, I'm glad that the American people are speaking out. Because if we don't use the First Amendment, we have two choices. Number one's death. Number two's revolution. Violent, paramilitary revolution. That's the only choices that we'll have if we don't speak out. The more we speak out against the government, the more lives that we save. And I am dead serious about that. And none of these people are above the law. A congressman can be arrested, a president can be arrested, a Supreme Court judge can be arrested. If these people subvert the United States Constitution, they can all be arrested and go to jail. That's all I wanted to say. And we need to stop apologizing. We need to stop apologizing for having Second Amendment rights. Read the Declaration of Independence.
Okay. Well, we'll close with one more question. So, go ahead.
No, I just actually had a comment about someone asked about fundraising. My organization, I found what I think is a really good way to make money for your organization if you're having trouble is find, like for example, I'm with Normal Marijuana. Okay, so what we did, if you show the parent, as in our case it's DFW Normal, if you show them that you're supportive, and it's the same for the college Republicans, Democrats, there's always a bigger sector of that, and if you show them that you're supportive, they'll support you, and we've gotten over $500 from DFW Normal, and we just started this semester. You just have to get out there and show them that you're making a difference, and you'll get money. They'll come to you.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. The biggest number is money you have to ask. Most people don't give because nobody ever asks them. Yep. So ask more people. So with that, we'll close another round of applause for our panelists.